All right, so we are back again with another great topic. And this time I want to talk about setting prices for a marketing agency. Now, this one is a important topic because a lot of marketing agencies are trying to navigate and understand, how do I set my prices? And I think for you to really get your prices set right, I do think there is a very interesting, I guess you say, concept that you have to grasp first. Because I think a lot of people are struggling with that because they really haven't grasped this concept that we're going to talk about today. And I think if you grasp the concept that we're going to talk about, I think what you're going to find setting prices a lot easier. Now, one of the things that I definitely noticed when talking to different, marketing agencies and different owners, as we've worked with a ton of different marketing agencies, and one of the things that I noticed is almost immediately, a lot of the times the first thing I can tell is that you need to raise your prices. And as soon as I say that, the first thing they come back to me with is, well, this is what my competitors are charging, and and I'm like, okay, I get it. But I still think, based on where you're trying to go, you need to raise your prices. Now, I'm going to dive into that a little bit more and I'm going to explain that. But before I do want to let people know, if you're new to, the Business Talk Library, you've never met me before, just to give you a little bit of context, I am not a marketer. I don't own a marketing agency. My background is accounting and finance. I approach this from the perspective of studying the numbers. And my whole job as a accountant and a finance professional for business owners is really to understand the numbers and tell them what I am seeing in the numbers. So my background is a CPA in corporate finance. So I've worked with Fortune 500 companies. I've worked with large companies, some of the world's largest companies, to some pre-startup companies as well as medium-sized companies. And my firm is the TL Turner Group, and what we provide are bookkeeping and CFO services. On the bookkeeping side, we're making sure that, hey, the books, that they can get clear financial statements, that they can read them, they can understand them. And on the CFO side, we're digging in, helping companies really develop marketing strategies. Like one in particular, we were working with a marketing agency that we work with each month, where we're really diving into the numbers. And this was one of the things that I walked them through, was when it came down to pricing. And they were a little hesitant to raise the pricing. But one of the things that we kind of walked through, as they started to realize what I was explaining and why I was explaining how they should raise their prices and why they should raise their prices, they went through the process of doing it. And yes, they lost a couple customers. But one of the things that they told me is, they said, you know what? Our business is more profitable because, yes, we lost a couple customers, but we brought on some new customers. And man, it's a lot less stressful. Our business model is a lot more profitable. And it was because they grasped the concept that I'm going to talk about. So let's jump back into the topic. Now, so when it comes down to setting the price, I think the very, very major underlying concept that you have to wrap your mind around, because if you do not wrap your mind around this, this is going to present huge problems for you, is you have to wrap your mind around volume versus price. See, most people, when they're looking at setting their prices, a lot of times what they are looking at is they're looking at their competitors and they're seeing, well, what are people paying on the open market? And one of the things that I challenge my marketing agency clients with is, I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell you, here's how I would look at it if I were the finance person for your client, the person that you're trying to pitch this deal to. What I really want to know is, should we hire this marketing agency? And to be honest with you, that is a question that I've had to answer for different clients that I've worked with or different companies that I've worked with, where they come to me and say, hey, we got this proposal from this marketing agency. Should we hire them? Yes or no? And I'm going to tell you, this is how I look at making that deal or advising them. And so if you are trying to sell your marketing services to another business owner, they probably have their accountant or their finance person doing exactly what I am about to tell you. And once you grasp it, I think you will notice that you'll have a lot more success in getting the right prices for your business. Because no one wants to be, I guess you would say, the lowest cost provider. I mean, you could be the lowest cost provider, win all the business, and then get overwhelmed and realize you got in over your head. Now you either have to take the loss or you have to cancel the contracts, and it's not going to look good for you. So, what I will definitely tell you is when it comes down to price versus value, is as a finance person, if my client came to me and said, hey, Terrell, we just got this proposal from this marketing agency. What do you think? The questions that I am going to ask are this: what is the value we are going to receive from using their services? And what is the price we have to pay to keep the price we have to pay this marketing agency? So, what are we going to get for our money is the real question that I'm asking. And one of the things, the reality of it is on the front end, it's very, it's a little subjective. But what I have noticed are the marketing agencies that are better at being able to provide the client with some perspective about what they're going to get tends to actually win the deals more often. Now, one way to look at that is, as a marketing agency, one of the ways that you can deliver value is you can actually help the client grow their business. So, one of the things that you can talk about is, hey, usually when we're working and doing marketing with our clients are bringing on an additional, let's say, 3 to 4 clients at an average price of X. And if you do the math and you realize, if my services cost $2,500 a month, if I am able to help my client bring on 3 new clients, paying them $2,000 a month, I'm going to help them make $6,000. They're going to pay me $2,500. As a finance person, I would tell that client, hey, this actually looks pretty good, because they're actually going to earn us enough additional business to pay for itself, which means the value they are delivering is higher than the price that they are asking. Where a lot of people tend to get into trouble when it comes down to the pricing discussion with their clients is they start, instead of comparing what their price that they're going to charge, instead of comparing that to the value that they're going to deliver, they start trying to get into this comparison game of comparing their price to their competitors. And whenever you get into that debate, I'm telling you, the client is only focused on who is the cheapest. Because once you start to point the client's attention to comparing your price to the prices of other people, then it's just, you're going to be in a losing game. Where I always tell people is, if you want to win the client over on your price, what you need to do is you need to be able to help the client understand, here's the price that I'm going to charge you, but here's the value that I'm going to deliver. And when the client is comparing those two things, to be completely honest with you, it's almost like you can charge a really high price. As long as you're going to deliver more value than it's going to cost them, they will more than likely be more, I guess you say, inclined to do business with you. But if you, in that discussion, if what you are doing is you are comparing your price to the market, or you are comparing your price to other competitors, and you may be saying, well, we offered at this, the competitors offered at this, but we throw in an extra couple of features. At that point, it really doesn't matter because in the mind of the person you're trying to pitch your services to, they once you start comparing your price to other people's price, they're only looking for, okay, I want the cheapest. I want who's going to cost me the least. But when you start to shift that conversation and say, you know what I want the client to be comparing is my price to the value that I'm going to deliver. If that is the case, then what you're going to see is your clients or your potential clients are going to be more inclined to say yes to whatever price it is that you are proposing if you can deliver the value. Now, what you also want to do is as you are delivering that value, one of the things that you can do is make sure that you have some way to communicate that to the client, to be able to tell the client, hey, when you started, your revenue was here, or hey, when you started your new client acquisition, you were only bringing on 2 new clients a month. Now you're bringing on 4, 5, 6 new clients a month because of the work that we are doing. Because one of the things that you don't want to forget about is that your client is constantly comparing your price either to the value you are delivering, or they are comparing your price to the other options from your competitors. And if you continue to remind your clients of the value that you are delivering, what you will notice is they will gladly continue to pay you. And if you continue to deliver more value, they may be very well open to increasing the amount of money that they pay you because you continue to deliver the value. As always, thanks for watching and continue to tune in for more awesome, great content that will help you in the financial and the accounting area of your business.